This is a video I've been really excited to make, and that's because I have this camera with me, which is the Rewindpix. This is a screen-free digital camera that has been super hyped up on the internet, and I supported it on Kickstarter about 4 months ago, and I've had it for a few weeks and I've taken a ton of photos with it, and I wanted to let you guys know if it's actually worth the $100 I paid for it or the new retail price, which I'll put up on the screen. Let's take a look at some of the pros and the cons, and most importantly, look at the photos this thing takes. I'm making this video in my backyard because it's been like 95 degrees for a month now. But if I'm going to do that, I'm going to at least be comfy. Let's get this set up and talk about the good with this camera. Okay, now that we're all set up, let's talk about the good. And I wanted to start with the photos, which is the most important thing out of any camera, is making sure the photos you take are good out of it. And this can produce some really great images. There's a lot of cool ways you can set up the photos, but just plain and simple, if you have decent light and take a photo with this camera, you will get a good result. You can really compare this to some great cameras, which is saying a lot for this only being $100 or so. The next thing that I really enjoy about this camera is the EVF. The viewfinder when you're taking photos. This, more than any other camera I've seen, has like the biggest viewfinder for a camera its size, like probably the biggest viewfinder to body ratio of any camera I've ever seen. So when you're looking through it, it's very big and very clear. So that's actually really helpful to, I bet, people who have glasses or who are poor of seeing. So I think that's a really smart feature that probably didn't cost too much more for them to make, and makes the user experience of this camera a lot better. And then the coolest part about this camera, probably its biggest selling point, is the way you can customize the looks straight out of this camera. So within the Rewindpix app, you can set up the rolls that you want to be loaded into this camera. So you basically pick 3 styles of film that you load into the camera that you get 36 shots with, and you can switch between 1, 2, and 3, and you can change to whatever style within the roll and get those shots. So I think that's a really cool feature that, you know, some other cameras, when you load a roll in, you're stuck with that look. So I think that's a great way to let people really go the extra step. And the customizability of it is really deep. You can do timestamps, light leaks, you can adjust the contrast, the saturation, the brightness. I'll try to show that all on the app on the screen, but it is a really in-depth customizable process, which if someone who's buying this camera wants to get a look that they really like, you can definitely do it. And then you can have it saved in one of 3 spots, and you can just keep loading that roll, or you can keep experimenting with different color styles, from like black and white to color to like crazy styles that I've seen in the app. But it's all fully customizable, which I think is such an amazing feature to pair with this camera. And adding on to the customizability of this is, once you get through shooting your roll, you don't have to necessarily export that right away. You still have space because you can switch it to like a standard mode, and then it has 3 color styles, which is warm, cool, and black and white. So even if you shot through your roll and want to keep shooting, don't want to spend the time to export everything off, and you still want to take photos, you can do that. You can take them in 3 different styles, and actually if you plug this into the computer, you can get an unedited version of the photo, so then you can apply your look afterwards, which I think is just amazing. The software side of this camera is really thought out and really well done. And then the last good thing that I don't think it's super major and needs a ton of explaining, but the build quality of this camera is really superb. It is plastic, but this is by far the like thickest plastic I've seen on a camera or any piece of tech really around this price range. Like the build quality for being plastic is really outstanding. I want to give kudos to Rewindpix for the quality side of how the camera feels. Okay, now that I've hyped this camera up plenty, I want to show you guys actual photos that I've taken with this over the last couple of weeks so you can make a judgment call on what you think the quality of the photos are. Obviously, there's a mixed bag of quality, but I want to show you guys a bunch of different photos. So let's roll those before we talk about the negatives.
Hey. In Greece, testing the reach, spending breach that I made, putting pens to the sheets. Took a week to retreat from defending the breach, cause living better, doing more, the only ending of beef. I need some time to reflect on the heat and all the payback that you know I kept my receipts. I bet on a team, let the work show what it means. When you charge it up and turn into a machine, I get the Green Bay J Love and split it with my day ones.
Okay, now that we've talked about the good and we've seen a lot of photos, I want to talk about the negatives with this camera. And I'm just going to start with the biggest one because I know some people might skip to this in the video. And for me, the biggest downside of this camera that is really holding it back is the shutter delay. I'm going to click the shutter button and I'll tell you when the photo actually takes. So click, there it took. So that's probably half-second delay between when I push the shutter and when the camera actually captures the image. So that is really noticeable, I would say. And honestly, it's especially really noticeable with the flash too at night. When you turn that on and you click the shutter button, you feel that delay and then you see the flash. And I've had people I took photos of say that was really delayed who have no idea anything about this camera or how cameras really work. They know that that's not how it's supposed to work. So the delay is pretty rough for me. So I've had tons of photos, probably more than half my photos. Granted, I didn't offload all of them right away, so I didn't notice it, but I lined up and took the shot and then started to move the camera away because I'm used to cameras taking the picture instantly and just ruin the photo completely because there's movement. And I wouldn't make a huge deal about this, but Rewindpix made a big push about there's no shutter lag, I noticed in the pre-production, and people were worried about it. And they kind of made a point to say, no, that's not good. But I saw a comment on the only critical review of this camera on YouTube that I found. There's a comment on the video and that read something like the owners shared that there is like a half-second delay from when the photo is taken to read the sim and like process to the card. I might be butchering that. The actual shutter speed is 1/60th of a second, so it should be fine enough to capture things if you're pretty still, but there is a delay, and the delay causes so many missed photo opportunities, and it's really been annoying me and makes me kind of mad at this camera when I look at it. Okay, and then a couple more things that I've discovered that I don't really enjoy about this camera is the time it takes to wake up. That is a big one. After a little while, the camera auto shuts off and goes to sleep, and to wake it back up, you have to fire the shutter button, assuming you cranked it after you took the last one, and then crank the shutter again. So if you see something happening and you want to take a quick photo and you haven't recently taken a photo, then you have to click the shutter, wind it up, and it takes probably, I would say, close to 10 seconds, probably a little less. And then another thing about this camera that has been bugging me recently is the processing time from when you take your photos from the camera to your phone. So you connect via Wi-Fi to its own network, and then you offload the roll, which is really quick, but then the processing time, like I don't know if it's like applying the looks to the photos in the app and then putting it on your phone roll. I'm not sure exactly how that process works, but it is a slow process. When I first started, it was pretty quick because I didn't customize any of the looks or anything. But once I've started to customize the looks of these photos, the processing time has been pretty significant. Like if I had 36 photos all with my custom look, like it's gonna take 10 to 15 minutes for me at least. So some of these issues I do want to say may be my version dependent, and like I did get one of the earliest units of this camera because I was an early supporter, so maybe not all units of this are like that. And if you guys have had better experiences with this camera, please let me know in the comments, because I hope these are just my unit things, because this is a really great camera, but there are some things holding it back. Okay, I should have said this from the start, but Rewindpix did not send me this camera. I did not get anything for making this review. I wasn't asked to make this review. And you probably could tell that by my subscriber count if you happen to scroll down in this video. But I wanted that to be known because I want to talk about if this camera is actually worth it. So I got it for $100 being an early supporter on Kickstarter. And I think now you can still get it for like 120, but I think it goes up to like 160, but I'll put all the prices up here and make sure that's correct. But worth it for $100, I think, is a really interesting question, and $160 is a whole different ballgame. But the customizable aspect of this camera is amazing. The software side of this camera, the build quality, almost everything about this camera is exactly what I'd want in a screen-free digital camera. Like, you can take it out of your bag and just shoot some photos with the looks you know you like. But the things that hold it back are just so massive right now. The long time for it to wake up, and then this shutter delay is just so painful when you use another camera like this. So this is the flashback camera, and I made a video reviewing that about a month or two ago. So this camera is exactly that. Like, that woke up right there. Camera, the second you turn the wheel, it's instantly awake, and the second you press the shutter, the photo takes. There's probably some lag in there, but nowhere near what I'm seeing with this camera. So if you're looking for something just quick to take photos, I would definitely recommend looking at something else. But if you really want to customize your looks and actually use this as, like, let's say your summer camera and you want to have those specific looks, I would recommend this camera because you can get some awesome photos out of this. You just have to be aware of the shutter delay. You have to click and hold that shot for like a second, and you will get a really good photo. I am confident in saying that. So if that can be fixed in a software update and the wake up time can be increased, this would be legitimately a 10 out of 10 camera. Highly recommend. But for right now, I just can't recommend this camera to someone unless they really know those downfalls and are okay with it. But I would say most people in daily use probably would not be okay with that, because the idea of this is it's easy, quick, and fun. And right now it's not easy or quick, but it is very fun. So something to think about if you're looking for a screen-free camera. But if you are looking for one, please check out my review on the flashback. I think this is a great option. It's a really cool camera, and it's only like $100 as well. So check out that review. I'll put a card up for it. And if you watch this long and you don't hate me for my opinions, please hit like and subscribe. I want to keep making more photography-based videos and showcase some of my photography, and as I get better at that, make more videos and share with you guys some cool equipment that I find along the way. So appreciate you guys watching. Have a blessed day.